Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome to Pi Circle. Today the topic we chose has a significance in many ways. If we take subcontinent or particularly Kashmir, we have seen our parents take most of the decisions, whether it will be taking up subjects after our 10th class or we getting married in our 30s or 40s. Maybe that's the one reason why our society is failing at the both fronts. So, today, the topic that we chose is what should be the criteria for choosing the subjects after 10th class, the prerequisites and interest areas that you need to have. Also, if parents force their children to take up certain subjects, they'll be incompetent in their field and also destroy their future. So, today we will be having discussion on computer science. Our panelists will throw some light on what should be the interest area of the students, the future scope, the subject skill sets needed to land a good job. So let us begin by introducing our panelists. First, we have Sajid Ali, who has an experience of around 11 years. Currently, he's a cloud architect at Microsoft. Also, we have Asif, having an experience of around 10 years, currently working in Lelafe as principal software engineer.
So we'll start from Mr. Asif. The first question for you is, so how did you choose like a software engineer? How did you came up in this field? And please introduce yourself, like what are you currently doing to you?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you for having me here. It's a privilege to be a part of this platform. And now, talking of my journey to computer science, it's actually all based on a spark that I had inside. I mean, I was a non-medical student in 12th. Then I was very much fascinated towards the practicals of the technology and rather than the theories. So I chose physics and maths were my interesting subjects. And when I went to college, I did my BSc from SP College, and I chose electronics as my major because that was more of a practical than physics, because physics has a lots of theories also attached to it, and I wanted to indulge in practical work and whatever I study, whatever I gain through my knowledge to implement that in the real world. And while doing my graduation, then I realized in some corner of my mind that maybe I'm still, there are some subjects, there are some topics which I have gone through, which I have covered and studied over the period of my graduation, but could not practically get my hands dirty on that. Then after my graduation, I have made my mind either I will go for electronics or computer science, and I applied for MSc Physics, MSc Electronics, and MCA. And fortunately, I got selected for all the three, PG courses in KU. Then again, it was a consideration, and my enthusiasm towards, practical, behavior, towards technology, the evolution of computer science, and the, job avenues, the opportunities in the field. So I opted for MCA. I started my MCA in KU in 2007 through 10. And during that, I was always focused and interest. There are two choices after you complete your degree: either you go to academics or you go to corporate side of this. A corporate side is the where you really apply what you have learned, you take the challenge. And then I that's why I was I made my mind to go to Bangalore or somewhere, work with the IT companies. I initially started my career with Hewlett Packard in Bangalore, but that involved only maybe 30% of development in my job role. Rest of kind of some coordination and management work, which I was involved in with overseas clients. But I was it was again that spark for doing the purely programming that brought me back. I came here and I joined Lelafe IT Solutions here in late 2011, and since then I have been working on some challenging projects and cutting edge technologies. I always been engaged with the clients from United States for which are in higher education domain and insurance sector. And for last 7 years, since Lelafe is partnering with many companies overseas, within India and outside. So I have been working for last 7 years with an insurtech company of United States.
Okay. So same question goes to Mr. Sajid. So why did you choose the subject and what was on your mind? Was it for was it your own will to choose the subject or parents pushed you for this?
First, I would like to thank you guys for inviting me on this call. So it all started when I was done with my 10 plus 2, just 12. Then after that, I had like a few options to go for, which was given by the parents, but I was not happy with those options, which is a fact. And it was those days. It was totally a new industry. Even in Kashmir, it was a new industry. That IT, I'm talking about 2000. Like it was totally a new industry those days. And the first thing, one of my friends asked me to join an IIT, which is in Kashmir, and I opted for a sort of diploma over there, which I did over there for 2 years. And side by side, I opted for my graduation in same stream, which is computer application, which is bachelor's in computer application. And when I started in this particular field, I felt that it is something which I am really like uh, enjoying, and it's been now almost 11 years in this industry. The very first time I started learning these IT languages, I found myself somewhere which belongs to me and I belong to them. And that was an indication that time that yeah, this is some type of field wherein I want to endure, I want to prospect, I want to achieve something. So after completing my graduation, I opted for the masters in the same computer application. And again, it was again the parents' will, I would say, but it was my passion because I want to explore few more things, some more things in this particular industry. And I moved out of Kashmir, and I started my masters like from Bangalore, and which I completed in the year of 2009. Once I completed my masters in 2009, the very first opportunity which I got that time, it was IBM, and I got into IBM as a fresher and started working as a developer on a product which was quite, I would say, fast product, and it was a banking domain. And I spent around 2.5 years in IBM, and I did learn a lot of things from there. Then when I was I found many things like in IBM which I learned from them, but there was some like carving. I want something more, wherein I can get some hands-on experience on those things which I have heard of, like different technologies I have heard of. Now I want to explore them practically, and as I had that time just 2.5 years of experience, and in IBM, it's quite a big giant company, wherein it will take time to get hands-on to such products which are quite new arrivals in the market. So it takes time. And at that time, I chose to quit my job because that particular switch gave me an opportunity to work on those new arrivals. And that time it was a new company, new journey for me, which was NTT Data America, which I joined in Bangalore only. And there I got like opportunities to work on different technologies which are quite new arrivals in the market. And side by side, the I would say policies which companies carry along is learning management. They also feed you whatever is coming up new in the market. They want you to learn it. They want you to go for a research and do some R&D on that those technologies. They will give you that time lapse and you can work on. That was quite like something which I was looking for, which I was looking for, and I got it on a right time, and I found it like really I was very lucky that I got these sort of chances. Then since then, yeah, I found one thing: whatever field you are in, you should be willing to work. You should be at work with your heart. You should be enjoying your work, then you will enjoy your life. The only thing like I would like to say to many people like nowadays like everybody wants to be a like there are some idols for everybody. Everybody wants to be some like something like that. I want to be like that guy. It takes a process and the result you will get it is not sure whether you will be like that person, whether you will become like that person or not. But one sure thing, one sure result over there is that you are gonna lose your own original version. Never do that. Whatever you are, be that person. What your heart says, just go and drive it. Don't listen to your surroundings. If you are willing to do something, take a decision, go and do it. Don't stop yourself and go on. So it's been now, as I said, 11 years. Right now, I do work with the Microsoft as an architect right now on different technologies, and mostly I'm been like involved in the cloud technologies. But one major thing I would like to tell each and every student, each and every person who want to achieve something, whether whatever field it is, choose it by your will. Don't go by force. Don't think it is small or a big. Whatever it is, do it. Don't listen to others. That is like what I can suggest the people. So don't be like quite like because we are in such a situation wherein we don't have much options. If you want to explore an option, so you need to clear up that particular layer and come out of that environment and explore something else, which will give you an experience as well as which will give you some goals. So be goal oriented in your life always. So these are the few things which I would like to let people, let students know how to like achieve what you exactly want to achieve. Always be goal oriented. Don't do anything which doesn't carry any goal.
Okay.
That's just a time pass. You are just passing your time. Always spend your time the way you spend your money.
Hmm.
These are few things which I would like to suggest. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we'll move to Asif. Mr. Asif, so do we need a degree in computer science in order to, start coding or land a job in a good MNC, or can we do it in a different, non-conventional?
Depending upon the interest, you ideally, I would say, in order to become a developer, a software engineer, you can be so without doing a degree, and you can do amazing things over there. But talking of reality, in order to then secure a job, it ultimately boils down to making a career and making some money. In order to secure a job, what you will mostly see the companies looking for, you should have this degree plus these skills. No, you can be without degree. There are people which we have come across didn't possess any relevant degree in computer science, but they did some courses like you have right now. Various online platforms like Udemy is there, Simply Learn, other things there, White Hat Junior, something like that. Lots of online education portals over there, over which you can definitely grasp any technology you would be interested in. But then in order to land a job and in order to get noticed, you should have something special. You should have a substance that can act as your portfolio, which can showcase your skills. That means, like, I can give an example. For example, you have opted to go for mobile development, and you pursue some course maybe for 6 months, for a year, and then you have some idea, you have some business problem which is a day-to-day problem, and you put together a solution for that. You develop an app for that. One is an app that just create something in Android, few pages, there's a static thing, and you get highlighted in the news. That I'm not talking about that. I'm really talking about the apps that make any difference, that add value, that solve any real world problem. If you have done like something like that you can add it as portfolio. You will have some opportunities. Or similarly, you have created some web portal, or you have created some, maybe some kind of a search engine, a small something like that, which gets you noticed. Otherwise, basically, but my personal advice would be, you need to know something of everything, but you need to know everything of something. What do I mean? For example, there are lots of languages, programming languages, or out there in current day-to-day IT sector, and you had to get a gist of everything, maybe lots of things, and then you had focus on one particular thing. And now, why, if you ask me, what should I do? Should I directly go for a particular career path? I want to be a mobile developer, I want to be a backend developer, I want to be a front-end designer. I don't want to go for degree. I will go for some online courses. There are some, even some universities are offering PG courses now. You can do that. But what a degree for me is a general platform. Let's take an example of, we are constructing a helipad. Then from this helipad only helicopters can make flights and can take off. Now, if we talk of a full-fledged airport terminal, choppers, propellers, helicopters, and airplanes, fighter jets can take off from there. So because it's a generic platform. Likewise, when you get a degree, when you pursue a degree, you get hold of a knowledge of like a system architecture, operating systems, databases, programming, and various other things. Then these analytical skills, logical reasoning. Then you have plenty of options to choose of a degree. Right now, if you say, I just want to be, say, front-end developer, and you pursue some courses, then you always have to be in that line. And maybe there will be, and of course there will be, difficulty in finding a job without having a degree, because you will have to struggle a lot, maybe starting with some companies which will offer you less. And I have even seen in Kashmir there were some companies in the past which would take freshers, I mean, with degree also. Then they would say, you just work with us for 3 months, we will assess your knowledge, assess your skills, then we will decide how much we pay you. There are people out there like that. So going without a degree, just focus on skills. You should have really that portfolio that will catch attention of people. Hey, this guy has done this. Definitely he has some element there, he has something inside which will benefit us, because companies looking for their benefit. They are not social workers out there that anybody can walk in and they will take him for the job. No, they are looking for their own benefits. And yes, companies also groom you. If you have a degree, you have not specialized in particular path, say in particular technology or a programming language. Companies look for your basic understanding of the things, basic understanding of the subject, and your analytical skills, problem solving skills. Then they groom you on the for the path they want to put you on. So you can definitely become a developer, but it will be a challenge to secure a job. But I would say go for a degree, because it's a generic platform. Then you have lots of options to choose from. and to start your career.
And if we look at the Kashmir marketplace, like the job prospect in Kashmir, how do you see it?
Right now, also, there are many IT companies, software development there are also, call centers, but I talk of software development companies here. If we count, maybe it may be, more than 20 companies may be there. But if we really talk of some big companies which have strength of over 50 employees, more than 50 employees are there. So they will take you. I mean, getting a job in those companies, sometimes they have the, that flexibility to say to take some freshers, but since they themselves are, aren't so much highlighted, haven't so much outshined there, so they have some their own limitations that they cannot always take freshers, but there are companies they take freshers, but overall job market, because since we don't have the local IT market here, because if we have company, all the companies are mostly doing the projects from outside. Even if we have government projects in JNK, they hardly, give that project to any local companies. Though it's in the budget is in crores, but it goes to outside companies. If same project would have gone to a Kashmir-based company which are really doing a good job, because it would have, catered more unemployed youth, degree holders, the skilled persons there, that would give them more chance. So right now it is improving, but again, it's unfortunately the situations we have been going through, the untoward situations we have been going through for the last few years, that's also a, burden and some, challenge for the companies to survive. Then in these conditions, in these daunting conditions, hiring new people, I mean, the chances are very less. But if situations continue to be peaceful, and government also has to take some initiatives like giving the preference to the local, IT firms here, which have been doing great job, because you see Kashmiri IT firms which are doing software development for American clients, European clients. I mean, I have been working with, as I said, we're in short a company of United States, partnering with them. We have been doing the software for some prominent insurance, Fortune 500 companies of United States. We give them digital transformation solutions. So, but unfortunately, government is, failing to realize that. That's why we don't get those projects. We have to always look for the work coming from outside, and then they usually ask for, experienced skilled persons. But if we have the work coming within also, that would open, bigger opportunities, big doors for the skilled person, unemployed people in the same field.
Okay. So now my question is to Mr. Sajid. So, Sajid, what are the programming languages that have high number of job offerings right now in market, and in future, which language will be the most dominant?
Every year you will see new sort of languages which arrive into a market and make a footprint in a market, and people start learning those things. My advice is, like, you can learn any sort of language, but the thing is, you're programming, the basic programming, which is OOP, which every programmer knows, object-oriented programming system or a structure. It should be well versed. They should have gone through it quite well. They should understand OOP structures quite well first. Whoever knows the OOP structure can learn any sort of programming in this world. I would give an example because, I started up myself when I started like my career. It was a simple like a C hash version 3.0 something, and I was handling like most of the applications which I was developing were in the same C hash code. Then in the market, what happened? A mobile was introduced, in a way of Android, iOS, and different platforms, wherein we had a great demand that these sort of applications should be available on these mini devices too. And then new era came up wherein most of the development was getting done in and getting developed in Java programming. And many people switched over the jobs and try to get into that in that particular language, and they made it. How they made it? Because their basics, the OOPS concept was quite clear. What I want to say, don't get confused with these many languages you see in the market right now. Don't confuse yourself. At the end, they are all same. They, their purpose is same. Their purpose is to deliver something. And behind it, what is the mechanism which works? That's always and that will always remain OOP, object-oriented programming. See, if you see the evolution of programming, like why scripting languages like JavaScript was there, which we used to we always used to develop and write down the code for the client end. Then what happened? Why people want something else as a scripting language, which should be more like defined or more clear? And people came up with different language like Angular, React.js, Vue. There are many languages. What was the goal? Why these scripting languages came into the picture? It came into picture so that the programmers should understand it. See, the Java scripting, it was a scripting language. There was no OOPS concept into it. And it was like a little hard for the programmers who have done their graduations or they have masters, they have done and they have studied OOPS in that. Now JavaScript was out of box. It was totally different. It was not maintaining those OOPS principles and all those things. That is the reason then all these new things came down to the market and they gave it to a name like Angular, they gave React.js, Vue. What's the new into that? It supports classes, objects, structures, which is the concept of OOPS. So again, you can see like whatever language is coming up in this market, and whoever is releasing the language in the market always have a base with OOPS. So my suggestion to all the students, to all the newcomers, would be clear your concept. It should be quite clear. OOPS should be quite clear. If you're quite clear on OOPS, then there is no damn language which you cannot learn.
Okay.
That is from my end. The
Okay.
basics
So,
should be quite clear for each and everybody.
fine.
Don't go directly for like any particular language. Go the basics first, then go to the next level.
Okay. Okay. So, my next question to Mr. Asif is, what if a person chooses to switch from his own domain, maybe humanities, maybe science, to computer science? What should be the criteria and what kind of language should he learn first?
Yeah, that's also a good question. And we see many people who have switched from one path to another in their academics and landed in software development or IT sector. I myself, I mean, if I talk of myself, I pursued BSc, with non-medical electronics, and then I pursued MCA and landed in IT sector. So usually, in order to get a course in computer science, maybe there are provisions that you can pursue MCA if you have these degrees other than BCA, like you have BSc, you have maybe some other subjects with mathematics in it. But there are some private institutes which gave this opportunity to even art students. After BA, they could go for MSc IT, which is a 2 year post graduation course. So basic thing that in order to whatever the criteria may be for some university to take you for a course in computer science, the main thing is that you should have some mathematical background. You should have a good aptitude skill and problem solving and reasoning, because programming, as Sajid mentioned, we should not get confused with so many programming languages coming over, which are out there. Because every year, now I have been witnessing for past over past 3 or so years, lots of evolutions and enhancements from the client side technologies like Java. It was plain JavaScript, then Angular, Angular 2, Angular JS, then Angular, React JS, Vue JS, and other things which are out there. We should not get confused with them. The main thing that you should have the basics, and you should have a good program, problem solving skill. Programming is, it can be thought of an art. It depends upon, it's not just it's not just the challenge, it's not just writing the code. The challenge is dividing a problem, then finding an optimal solution for this. Then you can write code in any language. Maybe you have one project that supports multiple languages. You can choose the language you are where of your flavor. Then you can write the code in that. The basic thing is that is not, anybody can mug up and learn programming language, then he can do better. No, you should be good at problem solving, dividing the problem, so finding a solution, then implementing it. You should have a good aptitude test. That's why, mathematics background and logical reasoning, these things add to that. They pave a way for that kind of mental ability.
Okay, thank you, Asif. So next question to Sajid is, how can a person start freelancing? Maybe it's fresher or experienced one, like both of them. How can they get into this freelancing and start earning money?
See, there are many, like you can Google, there are many freelancing sites on internet where you can register. The first thing what they are looking for, your work. So first, what you need to do if you want to do a freelancing, do some perform some work and upload it in a GitHub. GitHub is a repository which is quite open source. When you implement something and upload your work to that, then that means you are like sharing your work. You are giving the proof that you are capable of doing something. Once you do those sort of small assignments, then you can like share those assignments on your freelance site with your clients. They will look into your project work which you have done or assignments which you have done. If they get impressed, obviously they will come back and they will offer you and they will give you a work. There is no way you won't get work. You will. You should be willing to work on it. The only thing is like you need to be more smart. How that can be done? Whatever work you are doing, put that into a public platform onto a GitHub and share it with others and tell them that I have done this for our work. There are many open source projects going on in GitHub. Be a part of those projects. Try to build some they need people who can build particular modules, particular components, And once you do that in your free time, tomorrow it will become your reference for a bigger project. And it will obviously open up gates for you wherein you can achieve your goal. This
Okay.
is the
Yeah, I would like to
key.
add that, yeah, with your permission. So
Mm-hmm.
I totally agreeing with Sajid that, as I had mentioned earlier, also to get noticed, you should have something, some substance as your portfolio. So in freelancing, you have two types of options there. There are lots of platforms, but one will be there where there's a work is published there, and you start bidding for that. Whosoever bids lowest, of course, first you should have a portfolio, then you get a job. And another type of this freelancing is there are such platforms which ask you to create a profile, and then they find the relevant client for you. They bridge that gap between you and client. They outsource you to the client. It's not that there's no bidding for that. There's no work highlighted there that you had to bid for this and create the site, do this mobile development application. But they have big clients associated with them. They do some vetting there. They check your profile, your skills, your work, whatever you have done, and then they connect you to some good client who can take you for a year, also for 2 years, but based on the project. Once the project is over, your job is kind of over. But if when talking of other side, that where you have bidding, there are lots of works available, like small websites. Maybe someone may have written there that I need this website created within 100,000, within $1,000 or $1,500, or someone wants to bid on something. But mostly, if you are a mobile developer, you have good chance of getting good work, because mobile apps, there are lots of opportunities creating some basic mobile apps which are usually freelance there. You can get good options. But everything, any of these options, what they need is that your work, your substance, which Sajid mentioned, that you should have done something, and which should be available to public. That's GitHub, an open source repository where you share your work, people access them, then you get notes that way. And that is the platform where you can get a job opportunity without having a degree, but having a good hold on technology, on some particular, maybe on some particular domain, like front end or back end or database development or mobile app development. You can definitely there get a job without having a degree, but first having something done noticeable. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you. So at the end, I would like both of you to share some tips regarding interviews for our job aspirants right now in Kashmir or outside Kashmir. So starting from you, Asif.
All right. So I would like to divide this topic in two categories. For interview, you had to have two kinds of skills. One is the interpersonal skill, and another is the technical skill. So interpersonal skill is very important for when you are appearing for an interview, which includes your starts from your dressing, your communication, your attitude. So whenever you had to go for an interview, just be prepared. Look like you are enthusiastic. You have the passion to go for that work. You had a passion to join that work. You had to dress well. You had to be very comfortable. You had to be very active. And whenever you talk, you had to be confident with a good positive attitude. You have to always talk there. You had to be clear in your communication. You should be understandable. Maybe you speak some basic English. Even you sometimes they may talk to you in India with in Hindi or Urdu, whatever it is, the mode of communication. You had to be understandable, and you had to answer everything with good attitude. You should sound very confident. You have to be. It's not be like sometimes I have having interviewed many candidates. Sometimes candidates say, yeah, I think it's like that. It puts a bad impression on the interviewer. Even if you have to give the wrong answer, give it confidently, so that that also matters. The person on the other side sees that that element, that this has something to offer. And of course, you should do some research about the company where you are applying ahead of time, because company will usually ask that why should we pick you, or why did you choose us. So you had to have that research R&D done ahead of time. Then they will ask you, and it should look like that you are fully prepared. You are really the person who is only interested in our company. It should look to the interviewer. It has to be like that. And also you have to sound like a good positive attitude person. I mean, I share my experience that I recently remember, maybe last year or year before, We interviewed a candidate for some technical position, for a developer position. He was awesome, outstanding technically. And then, since interviewer has to also look for its impact in the company, it's not only that you have to get the work done. You had to look for, there's work and there's work culture. Work is done everywhere, but work culture matters. That can make an employee stay with the company for years. So with that candidate, we found that he was technically awesome. He was outstanding, but we asked something him, to check his notion about being a team player. So we could notice that he just wanted to be all in all and independent, and we rejected him for his that kind of negative attitude. So that should not be there. You should be independent player, ready to start, but you should always be a helping hand, always being able to share. If you do something individually, you do great job, you get noticed. But you deliver, you do great jobs, and also you coordinate with others, you help others, you reach out to others, you approach others, you get you get noticed, and the other person gets staggered by you. So that's the main thing. Now technical part is that, as already Saj mentioned, that which I agree, that you have to have clear understanding of basics of computer science. The oops you have to have, database basics. What are the relational database? What are entities? What is the relation? What is primary and foreign key? How we relate the things. What are the joiners? Which usually I ask in the interviews for a person, for a fresher or the person with couple of years experience. And you should have good hold of oops, the understanding, not just mugging up. Encapsulation is this hiding of the information. You had to get the example. Why do we hide this? Why do we encapsulate the things? Why do we use encapsulation? Why do we use inheritance? Why do we use the interface, with a class if we have everything there? You have to have a clear understanding of those things, because those are the building blocks of everything. And you have to have a good problem solving skills, because usually you will be given some scenario, just give us a solution. They don't check your syntax that time. They just see how you approach the problem and what kind of solution you apply there. So that's pretty much.
Thank you, Asif. To you, Sajid.
I think Asif has covered most of the things for interview. So I would like to say a few things here. Like, interview, like, is nothing. You should have a quality to sell yourself. Interview is nothing. You are selling your skills. So you should know what you are good at and how to sell it. I will give a simple example. If you are running a shop or a general store, and you have product over there, and you want to sell it, and it's a new arrival, nobody knows about it, and it's totally a new arrival in the market. What you do? What's your, like, first thing to do about this? So whichever customer gets into a shop, you tell him about the benefits of that product. You are telling him the benefits because somebody has told you that these are the benefits, and you are quite sure about those benefits, and you are saying same thing to another person. You are delivering those benefits and letting them know these are the benefits of this product, and you are quite sure because somebody told you this, that these are the benefits, and you are quite sure on that. So you are quite confident. That is the main thing. If you are a newcomer or whatever you have learned, be confident on each and everything which you have learned. Tell your strengths always. Don't be shy. Always, if anybody asks you a question, wherein they give you scenarios, how can we do this? Be a little smart. Ask why you want to do this. This why is gonna help you in each and every part of your career. If whenever anybody asks you to do something, ask them why I am supposed to do this. Get the details, no, be a detail oriented person, get all the details, why I am doing this, then start work on that. And be confident about your skills which have built up. Be presentable and present your skills in such a way that you can sell them out. These are some like tips I would say in a market like which you need to learn about.
Thank you, Sajid.
Main thing is get confident.
Yeah. Thank you. So here, wrapping up the discussion, I would like to thank both of you for taking out time from your busy schedule and enlighten us with the subject. Also, I would like to tell like we have a page, Pi Circle, and we'll be starting some new courses on it. So if you feel the video has helped you in any way, please do go to the page and subscribe. So in next week and coming days, we'll be coming up with new lectures and new on computer science or other subjects. I would like to thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.